WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Connor James. The time is about 6:29. Happy Friday to you. That Friday really means nothing to Kelly or I, but let's check in with her for a look at your forecast this morning. Kelly, a beautiful weekend ahead.
Yes, it is a beautiful weekend, and like you said, it is Friday, but not technically our Friday. We're still here through the weekend, but overall, it's most people's Friday, so we're definitely happy and cheery about that. However, a little bit of fog starting us off this morning, especially to the south and southeast, so be very careful on the roads this morning, especially into the Cumberland Valley region. Give yourself a few extra minutes as you head out this morning. Now, temperatures around the region, we are in those mid 60s, upper 60s for some of us, so overall a warm start to our day, and satellite and radar really not showing too much this morning. Clear skies above all of that fog. A lone shower up just to the northeast of Moorhead, northwest of Louisa. Could be heading into Lawrence County in the next 30 minutes, but overall really dry throughout the morning, and that's how it's going to stay through the morning. However, the afternoon hours, we're going to see those showers become a little bit more numerous, and I'll break down those rain chances here in just a little bit, Connor.
All right, thank you, Kelly. As pressure for tougher gun control laws is growing after the massacres in Dayton and El Paso, Republican Senate leader Mitch McConnell says lawmakers will work on a bipartisan agreement in September. CBS News has confirmed the National Rifle Association's top official has had several phone conversations with President Trump this week. CBS's Katherine Johnson is at the White House.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says gun control legislation will be on the agenda after the August recess.
We're going to have these bipartisan discussions, and when we get back, hopefully be able to come together and actually pass something.
In a radio interview, the Kentucky Republican says he does not plan to bring the Senate back early for discussions, while lawmakers face pressure after the weekend's deadly mass shootings.
This isn't about hunting. This isn't about taking care of your family or protecting your home.
Democratic presidential candidate Tim Ryan led a caravan of gun law reform activists from Ohio to McConnell's hometown of Louisville, Kentucky.
We're not going to let this issue be defined by the NRA anymore. We are going to define this issue.
CBS News has confirmed NRA leader Wayne LaPierre spoke with President Trump several times Tuesday. In a statement, LaPierre said the proposals being discussed, quote, would make millions of law-abiding Americans less safe and less able to defend themselves. President Trump expressed interest in background checks before departing the White House Wednesday for Ohio and Texas.
I think both Republican and Democrat are getting close to a bill to doing something on background checks.
As for a ban on assault rifles, the president said there's, quote, no appetite for it. Katherine Johnson, CBS News, the White House.
The NRA tweeted yesterday that none of the current background check proposals would have prevented this weekend's tragedy in Dayton and El Paso. And Kentucky lawmakers from both sides are coming together in a move that could force some gun owners to hand over their weapons. State Senator Morgan McGarvey, a Democrat, and Republican Julie Rack-Adams and Paul Hornback are working on a so-called red flag law in Kentucky. The law would allow police to temporarily confiscate guns from people a judge decides are the danger to themselves or a danger to others.
This is not to create a wild goose chase department in the police force, right? This is to look at credible threats of people who are a risk of harm to us or, importantly, to themselves.
The request for the order could come from a police or family member of a person who may be suicidal or talked about shooting people. 17 states have similar laws. The bill is first expected to be presented and debated in November. And Governor Bevin ceremoniously signed four new anti-abortion bills into law yesterday. It comes as the ACLU is fighting to keep Kentucky's last abortion clinic open. The EMW Women's Surgical Center in Louisville is the only clinic in the state that performs abortions. One new law requires abortion centers to have a written transfer agreement with a hospital and a transport agreement with an ambulance company. A judge in federal district court struck down the Kentucky law, saying it doesn't enhance patient safety. Now the case is in the Federal Court of Appeals. And the Office of Attorney General Andy Beshear is weighing in on a spat between Lieutenant Governor Gene Hampton and Matt Bevin's administration. Beshear issued an Attorney General's opinion after a request from Hampton. The AG's opinion says the Lieutenant Governor was has the power to hire and fire her own staff. The opinion, written by the Assistant Attorney General Taylor Payne, does not carry the force of law. 2 of Hampton's staff members have been dismissed by Bevin's administration in the past 2 months. And in the past months, Hampton argued that she should have control over her own staff. In January, Governor Bevin dropped Hampton as his running mate for re-election. And jury selection began yesterday in the case against the father of Secretary of State Allison Lundergan Grimes. Earlier this week, a judge ruled prosecutors can argue Jerry Lundergan before campaign that he broke campaign laws in 2 of his daughter's state campaigns. Lundergan is not charged in connection with Grimes' state races. He is on trial for allegedly making illegal contributions to Grimes' 2014 Senate campaign. Dale Emmons is also on trial. And this morning, the search continues for a missing Tennessee inmate who's suspected in the murder of a prison guard. This man, 44-year-old Curtis Watson, remains on the run. He escaped from the West Tennessee State Penitentiary Wednesday. Deborah Johnson was found dead on prison grounds Wednesday. She worked for the prison for 38 years. Watson was serving a 15-year sentence for especially aggravated kidnapping. Officials said Watson worked on a farm detail and apparently used a tractor in the escape.
Make no mistake, we need Tennesseans to be vigilant. We need folks in this state, and particularly in the region where this occurred, to report any and all information to local law enforcement and to the TBI. This man is considered extremely dangerous, and we need to find him.
Officials say he could be anywhere, including Kentucky. The reward for Watson's capture is now up to $52,000. And a man armed with a rifle and more than 100 rounds of ammunition was arrested at a Missouri Walmart. The Springfield Police Department says they responded to a call of an active shooter at the Walmart last night. Police said a young white man appearing to be in his 20s was walking around the Walmart in body armor and military fatigues. Police say the man had tactical weapons. There were no shots fired and no one was injured. Police observed many shoppers hiding outside the Walmart and at nearby businesses when they arrived. An off-duty firefighter who was at the Walmart helped detain the man.
His intent was not to cause peace or comfort to anybody that was in the business here. In fact, he's lucky he's alive still, to be honest.
Investigators will review both the Walmart security footage and the young man's social media profiles. Lucas says there's been a Facebook Live video posted by the man. The Perry County man will spend 50 years behind bars. That is the sentence handed down yesterday for Harold Hayes. A jury found him guilty earlier this year in the murder of Terry Stidham. Police found Stidham shot to death in the Combs community last August. He must serve 85% of the sentence before being eligible for parole. And a Clay County woman is accused of breaking into a home last month. Police say Loretta Smith stole an ATV, 2 laptops, other electronics, and clothing. They charged her with burglary and theft by unlawful taking. And in Knox County, police say they found a trucker with a fake urine in his rig. Police arrested John Gillespie Wednesday. Here he is. Police say he also had a meth pipe with residue in the shaft and bowl. He faces numerous charges, including drug possession and paraphernalia charges. And drug overdose deaths have been a more rural issue for years, but a new study shows urban residents are now more likely than those outside of cities to die from an overdose. Today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on the numbers.
For nearly 10 years, the number of overdose deaths in rural counties across the U.S. exceeded those in major cities. But according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, as of 2015, that is no longer the case. Researchers with the CDC's National Center for Health Statistics found that starting that year, people in urban areas became more likely to die of an overdose than those in rural areas. But who they were and what kind of drugs they used did vary. Men were more likely to die from overdoses in the cities, while women were more likely to fatally OD in rural areas. And when it came to what kind of drugs people were dying from, that varied too. The majority of deaths from heroin, cocaine, and drugs like fentanyl happened in the city. The less populated areas saw more overdose deaths from things like prescription opioids, methamphetamine, and amphetamines. Overall, preliminary data shows that those drug-related deaths have dropped slightly in the U.S., declining 5.1% in 2018. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Checking on that visibility again for you this morning. It seems like conditions are going to be improving within the next hour or so, but for now, still dealing with reduced visibility, especially into the Cumberland Valley region. Harlan is looking at 1 mile of visibility. Middlesboro, about 0 miles. London, you're looking at 7 miles of visibility, so be very careful out on the roads this morning. That fog is definitely going to be thick at times. Use those low beams and give yourself a little bit of extra time. Those temperatures, we are in those mid 60s into the Cumberland Valley region, a little bit warmer as you head more north. 70 in Prestonsburg, Pikeville at 69. Jackson, you're at 67. Richmond is at 70 degrees this morning, and by the time we get to this afternoon, we're going to look at those temperatures into the mid 80s, and then we are going to see a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms. However, I do not think today will be a total washout. I'll have that full forecast here in just a little bit. Connor.
All right, we will have stories trending on WYMT.com next. Thanks for joining us on Mountain News this morning. And straight ahead, the Hubble Space Telescope recently took an amazing photo of one of our neighboring planets.